Ten years ago, Bruker made a significant investment into the pharmaceutical community. We were the first diffraction company to come out with IQ/OQ for our systems. We were also the first diffraction company to come out with software that was fully CFR 21 Part 11 compliant. And we continue that tradition today with the D2 Phaser, D4 Endeavor, D8 Advance, and D8 Discover systems.
X-ray diffraction is unique in that it tells you the crystal structure, the chemical composition of the sample as it actually exists. And a lot of times that's a critical parameter in a drug. And X-ray diffraction is the only technique for doing that.
The D8 Advance for pharmaceuticals really is the flagship system and the most versatile system Bruker offers for pharmaceutical applications. You can now run excipients, you can do polymorph screening, you can look at full tablets, you can take air-sensitive samples, load them into a capillary and run them in transmission. You can now mount a non-ambient stage to the system and look at stability studies as a function of temperature, as a function of humidity, either high temperature or low temperature. And for those that are doing freeze drying, you can also do the lyophilization studies at liquid nitrogen temperatures as well.
The D8 Advance has options for sample changers. That could be a 9-position sample changer all the way up to a 90-position auto changer. So this gives you options for more high throughput unattended measurements. And at the same time, it allows for some different optical configurations that might be a little more effective for looking at bulk samples like tablets.
The D2 Phaser for pharmaceutical applications is great for those users who need powder diffraction information but might not have the budget or the floor space for a full standing D8 Advance. The D2 Phaser gives phenomenal data quality and allows the end user to do polymorph screening and amorphous analysis, just to name a few of the applications that the D2 Phaser can bring to the pharmaceutical community.
A D4 Endeavor is a good instrument for quality control. It's designed with a front-loaded 60-position sample magazine that can be loaded continuously.
So now you can do quality control on the fly, get data out of the system very quickly with the Lynx Eye or the Vantec 1 detector, and really understand what is happening in your production process.
One application for which the D8 Discover is very useful is known as high throughput screening. So this is a method by which you're looking at very, very, very large libraries of pharmaceuticals that have been exposed to different conditions. One of the more recent innovations to this high throughput screening setup is the use of an IMUS, or microfocus source. This is different than a conventional sealed tube in that it's very low power, but all of its intensity is concentrated in a spot, which is exactly what you're looking for in a source for high throughput screening. Because it's so low power, it requires no water cooling, and this pays dividends in low maintenance, but the intensity of the beam at the sample can be 5 to 7 times higher than a conventional sealed tube.
When you talk about data collection with X-ray diffraction, and you say, well, the data collection takes about a minute longer, most people look at that and say, well, that's just a minute. A minute's not going to make a difference one way or the other. But with high throughput screening, when you're looking at a 96 well plate, 96 separate samples, and it takes you a minute longer at each well, you've now just added an hour and a half to your entire data collection process. So the speed of a two-dimensional detector combined with an IMUS source really has a big advantage when you're trying to screen a large number of crystals very, very quickly. High throughput screening generates a tremendous amount of data, and you need a software package to be able to handle that. PolySnap allows the user to take large quantities of data and visually see the correlations between all of the different sample properties. Pharmaceutical customers really need to understand the crystal structure of their samples. Topaz allows the user to take powder data and get outstanding structural information, and in some cases solve the structure from the powder data that you've collected.
Bruker has a very wide range of X-ray diffractometer products for the pharmaceutical industry. Products and configurations suitable from the very early stages in research and development and discovery, all the way through to quality control.